Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I make new videos every single week, so if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on my bell notifications so you don't miss a thing. So a really long time ago, I think it was one of the first videos on my channel, I made a video all about weird opinions and quarantine thoughts, but I remember having so much fun filming that video, and seeing as that was almost a year ago that I posted that, and the fact that I'm still in quarantine made me want to do a part 2. I hope you guys are ready for the weirdness that is about to unfold, so let's get right into it. Whenever I eat chips, I get this thing I call chip shivers. Chip shivers are like goosebumps and also shivers that I get when I eat literally any type of chip. I've had this as long as I can remember, so it's not like that weird to me, but if you see me look absolutely uncomfortable while I'm eating chips, I promise I'm having a good time. I'm just chip shivering. I think it's a fun pastime to just stare at a wall and see what your mind comes up with. Most times I end up thinking about something like really boring, like what I'm gonna have for dinner or whatever, but other times I can create an entire world in my head and live in it for a really long time. I could sit and stare at a wall for hours. By the way, I'm recording audio on my phone, so if you see me hold my phone, that is what that is. The big microphone was just not the move for today. Whenever I make pasta for my family, I will eat the noodles out of the pot. I don't care if they're raw, I don't care if they're crunchy. I'm gonna eat them before they're even remotely cooked because I'm bored of being in the kitchen and I'm hungry. No one can stop me. I don't know when this started or honestly how I'm able to do this at all, but I have a really big problem with falling asleep in public places. This isn't something I can help either. If I'm sitting somewhere waiting for something, I will most likely fall asleep at some point or another, even if it's just for a couple minutes. I think waiting rooms are probably the worst of this. I don't remember the last time I didn't fall asleep in a waiting room. No matter how much I try and stay awake, I just can't. Even if I'm not tired, give me 10 minutes in a waiting room and I will be asleep. I think I've talked about this before, but I actually have a huge addiction to hot sauce. Frank's Red Hot to be specific. My love for that sauce has only gotten stronger as quarantine has gone on. It's to the point I put it on actually everything between like burgers, tacos. I put it on vegetables when I eat them. Like it's an issue. No food is safe from the Frank's Red Hot. Sometimes my dreams are so vivid I can either wake up laughing or crying based on what it was about, which must look terrifying now that I think about it. If I was at a sleepover with somebody and they woke up in the middle of the night laughing, I'd first call an exorcist and then I'd flee the country. Oh, on the topic of dreams, I can also lucid dream really well. This is something I've been working on since I was maybe 15. I've really mastered it. I have full control over every single dream I have, and I can change whatever I want to whenever I want to, but I genuinely think dreams are so fascinating that I kind of just go with the flow and see what happens. I don't know when or how this started, but I have the most intense urges to create new food combinations. What? I might do a whole video on it in the future because I'm really like addicted to creating new ones. My newest invention is called barbecue carrot. It's literally exactly what it sounds like. It's a carrot with barbecue sauce on it. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea or why it tastes so fire, but try it out now. Barbecue carrot. I think chips and dip are the most confusing idea ever. If I want chips, I'm gonna have chips. I don't need a fancy sauce to go with it. Also, like, doesn't the chip get wet? Like, how do people not get bothered by that? The only exception to this rule, I think, would be tortilla chips because they're kind of like a more sturdy texture. I think they can handle a little salsa, but regular chips, I don't understand. I like watching paint mixing videos on YouTube, even though I don't paint or really mix colors at all. I just think it's satisfying to look at. Also, that little like glass stirrer thing, oh, I love that so much. I don't know why, but whenever I buy something, I forget that I use it, if that makes sense. Let me do an example because this is a weird one. If you buy a box of tea and you drink the tea every single day, it's gonna run out at some point. But for some reason, every time it does run out, it just confuses me. I'm like, where did all the tea go? Like, knowing that I've used it, it makes no sense in my mind why all the tea is gone. But like, I know that I've used it. Like, if I have it, I just expect it to like regenerate or something. I don't know. I love coming up with the most random names for things. An example of this is dog crumbs. What are dog crumbs, you may be asking? Well, I'll tell you. Dog crumbs are anything from blades of grass to pine needles to pieces of dirt. It's basically any particle that comes into your home via dog transportation. So yeah, those are dog crumbs. This is totally an ADD thing, but when I am doing literally anything, I am most likely somewhere else mentally. I probably spend a good 85% of my day zoned out. I know that sounds like an exaggeration. I promise you it's not. And it's actually really frustrating at times, but it is something I'm working to get better at. You know how some people assign colors to numbers and stuff? I assign seasons, like weather seasons, to every single song that I listen to. I think Gen Z humor could be code for so many things. Like, imagine a Gen Z spy, and the only way they communicate with their other spy members is through obscure TikToks and Vines. Unless you're up against Gen Z, they're gonna have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. It's brilliant. This one's a bit of a story story time. This again could be because I have ADD. I will be doing something, like in the middle of doing something, and forget what I'm doing midway through and never end up finishing whatever I was doing. An example of this was a few weeks ago when I wanted to make myself some French fries. So I put them in the oven, I turned the oven on, I cooked them fully, and then when I went to turn off the timer in the oven, I forgot why I had turned off the timer in the oven. For some reason, I really don't know what happened, but a few days later, my mom calls me into the kitchen and she's like, "We're gonna make some fries?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She opens the oven and shows me my perfectly cooked fries just sitting in the oven from like 3 days ago. RIP those fries. I may be vegan, but I hate bugs. Like, I don't want them to die, but I don't want them anywhere near me. When Brood X happens, I'm going to stay inside all day. I don't care. I'm not going out into that. And it's in the middle of fish fly season. Are you actually kidding me? That is a nightmare. I happen to really enjoy a lot of foods that people just hate for some reason, like Brussels sprouts and tofu. I think it's all about the seasoning, and if I make you Brussels sprouts, I promise you will like them. I have this very strong urge to climb up onto my roof in the middle of the night to look at the stars. I definitely blame coming of age movies for this. I would love to do a medical study on how TikTok and Vine shortened my entire generation's attention span, but also how it gave us incredible recall memory. Reading and writing blows my mind. The fact that somebody thought to come up with little marks to convey words without speaking them out loud. And not only that, but we are also taught how to do that as children, and we use it almost every single day. That is crazy to me. I have absolutely zero concept of time. I think my internal clock just needs new batteries or something, because my days either feel like 5 seconds or 5 weeks. There is no in between, and I don't know what I do with all my time. The fact that we can only survive 3 or 4 days without water kind of scares me. What if you just forget to drink water? What happens? I can tell you the names and a fun fact about almost every single character in My Hero Academia, but I have trouble spelling my own middle name. It's pathetic, but it's no one's fault but my own. Tums make me cringe so hard. I will not eat them unless I am in immense pain, because I would rather my stomach hurt than have to eat this chalky piece of dust, because it's literally the worst texture ever. It makes my whole body shiver. It makes my teeth hurt. It is actually the worst thing I could ever eat. The idea that I exist in other people's minds, even people I know in real life, it just seems really bizarre to me for some reason. It feels so weird and personal that like a mini version of me just exists inside of the minds of some people. And I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of don't like it. I literally never walk on sidewalk cracks ever, and I cannot believe there are people that just step on them without thinking. Have you never heard, if you step on a crack, you'll break your mother's back? Warning, this next one's kind of gross. My fingers are really gross and messed up from spraining them too much as a kid, and I don't think any of them are straight. They're all a little bit crooked to some extent, and some of them straight up just don't stay in the socket. So I'm going to show you this. Look away if you're grossed out and you don't want to see me literally relocate my fingers. These two are probably the worst of them because they just sit outside the socket. Like, this part is straight and then this part just is not. So when it's like out like this, you can see it just like curves weird, but when I try and bend it, it goes back into the socket with a pop. I'm also double jointed, so. You know how there are people that take in all the groceries at one time because they don't feel like going back to the car for the second trip? I take that logic and apply it to every single area of my life that I feel like it could fit into. Like for laundry. I don't care how much there is to carry. I am not going back for a second trip. I will put them down my shirt. I will put them down my back. I do not care. I am not going back for a second trip. I told you it was weird, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you have any of your own weird opinions or thoughts, feel free to leave those down in the comments below because I'm really interested to see what you guys come up with. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on my bell notifications so you don't miss a thing. Stay safe, stay healthy, make good choices, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.